Hi, I'm Liz and I am a beekeeper. I'm based in Bont Dolgadfan in Mae'r, and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about my beekeeping, the bees I keep and why I keep them, and hopefully enlighten you and encourage you to get involved with Plan B, because I think it's a fantastic initiative. I started beekeeping probably 2 years ago now, just under 2 years ago. I'd wanted to keep bees for a long time because my father kept bees and I was really interested in them. But it wasn't until I moved to this beautiful part of Mid Wales that I was able to set up my apiary and have room to keep bees. We're going to go up to the apiary in a minute and I'll show you my beehive. And hopefully, it's early in the morning, you can probably see from the bright sunshine, but hopefully the girls are just about getting up this morning. It's warm enough for them to come out of their hive. I've got my trusty smoker here and my hive tool that I use to investigate what's going on in the hive. Here I am in my bee suit. This is the veil that protects me from the bees. And my suit, it goes, you can't really see it, but anyway, it's full coverage. I have one active colony at the moment, which I got last summer. So this is their second season that they'll be doing, and I did an inspection the other day. Everything is well. The queen has started to lay her eggs. She begins to lay again. She actually lays all year round, even through the winter. But she begins to increase her laying around about this time of year when pollen is available to feed to the brood, because that's what the brood relies upon. And when I say brood, I mean the baby bees. So the bees at the moment are busy bringing in pollen of all shades. It's amazing the shades of pollen they're bringing in, from a beautiful deep burnt orange to a bright sunshine yellow, through to a lovely clotted cream colour, and also grey pollen at the moment, which I think is coming from grape hyacinths. So they are, this time of year, they are really reliant on pollen stores. Snowdrops are the first plant to come out that they rely on. The bees don't hibernate over winter. That's a common misconception. They actually just form a really big cluster. It's like having a really big cooch all winter long where they keep each other warm. And in the centre of that cluster, as you might imagine, is the queen, because the queen is so important to the colony. And anything happens to the queen, the colony gets very upset very quickly. And that's when you might, as a beekeeper, you might sense that the bees are a little bit more fizzy than they are normally. And that usually means there's something happening with the queen. From about sort of April through to October, I will be inspecting my bees every week to see that everything is okay in the hive, that the queen is laying, that everybody's happy and they've got everything they need in terms of space and food, and just to keep an eye on what's happening. And of course, it's not what I do it for primarily, but a secondary benefit of keeping bees, obviously, which you might all be aware of, is honey. And so my bees, in their first season last year, I left all the honey that they made on the hive over winter so that they got something good to eat. And hopefully this year they'll make enough honey that I can just take a little bit off for myself and for my toast in the morning, but not too much. I always ensure that they've got honey over the winter and that they can access that to keep alive. I'm going to show you what the bees are doing. I think it's around about sort of 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, so they're getting their first blast of sunshine on the hive, which they'll be pleased about, and I can hear them buzzing, I can see them coming and going. So let's go in and see what they're up to. So this is where Bont bees live. This is my little apiary that actually houses at the moment 3 hives, one of which is active, and it's that one over there in the corner. And I'm hoping very soon to be taking a delivery of bees that will come and live here and also in that hive over there. Now these hives are called national hives. There's all sorts of different styles and types of hives, but you can see as I move around here that my bees are getting a beautiful early morning blast of sunshine. As a quick guide, when you look at a hive, what you're actually looking at, I'll take you through the bits here. So down here, oh, there's my pointy finger, that's the stand and the floor of the hive there. And then this big box here, that's effectively the nursery. That's called the brood box, and that's where all the young bees, the eggs are laid and all the young bees are reared. And it takes about 21 days for a bee to hatch. And then up in this little bit, you can't see it because of the lid, but under here, that's what's called the honey super. And that's a box filled with honey that they made last year that they will be feeding on at the moment. And then obviously there's a lid here, and I keep a big stone on it just in the winter to make sure that the lid doesn't blow off. The sun comes through here in the morning and warms up the hive, which is really important. That helps them get an early start out and away getting pollen. They're just beginning to stir. I don't know whether you can see them there. And they're getting a little warm there on the front of the hive in the entrance. I'll just see if I can go in a bit closer for you and see what they're up to. So normally around the entrance of the hive here, you'll get what we call guard bees, and it's their job to sit at the entrance of the hive all day long and just to keep an eye out for who's coming in and out of the hive, and to make sure that they are in fact the bees that belong to this hive and nobody's trying to get in from another hive to rob honey. And they're also obviously watching out for predators. Now, years and years, millions and millions of years ago, obviously bees and bears didn't mix because bears love honey, and understandably bees don't like bears for that reason. So you might often wonder why bee suits are white or light bright colours. Well, if we appeared at the hive in a black bee suit, they might immediately think that, oh my goodness, it's a bear. I'm going to take the lid of the hive off and just show you what's going on underneath. I've got a very clever, clear, what we call crown board inside, which actually allows me to watch what the bees are doing on the comb, which is fascinating. And this is, this piece of equipment here is something called the crown board. Now, sometimes this crown board can be made of solid wood, so you can't actually see through it. But this is a very clever one because, if you can hear that, this is made of perspex. It's a perspex window. So I can see the bees, but they can't get out. And what you can see happening here is, remember, this is the honey super at the top of the hive. And what's happening here is this is where the bees are all feeding on the honey, and they're taking that down. Some of them will be taking it down to the brood area to feed the babies, and also, but most of all, they will be stocking up themselves here on honey that will allow them to do to have the energy they need for the day to go about their business. Many of these bees actually won't be flying today because they are housekeeping bees, and they have some kind of a role within the hive that means they stay at home all day. And generally speaking, even if it's a foraging bee, i.e. a bee that is around about 4 to 6 weeks old and she's out foraging for food. Oh hello, we've got a little guest here that's decided to come and land on this piece of brace wax. So the foraging bees, they will spend around about 8 or 9 hours in the hive actually, and they will just be cleaning up, having a meal, getting ready to go out and foraging again. This is the bees. You can see there, let me just zoom in on what's happening here. But you can see they're tucking into a bit of honey on the frame. They're also building little bits of wax here. Can you see? Oh, there. Can you see that wax that they're building? Now, bees are so clever. People often ask me, how is wax made? Well, wax is made inside the bee, believe it or not. They don't make it outside of their bodies, they make it inside their bodies. And what happens is that the young bees secrete the wax. They secrete tiny little wax discs between their the scales on their abdomen, and those discs are taken off that bee by another housekeeping bee and passed on to put into the comb to make honeycomb, which is absolutely fascinating. And I have seen once or twice in the early part of the season a young bee with the little wax discs just protruding out, ready for another bee to take it from her and start building comb. Bees live in darkness. If you can imagine, when I pop this lid back on, they are completely in the dark, and so therefore they rely really heavily on their senses when they're moving around in the dark. They'll do a lot of communication by smell. They release pheromones that mean different things, and they do a lot of communication through vibration. So you might have heard of the waggle dance that bees do to communicate where nectar and pollen is. All that dancing is about vibration and the bees feeling their way in the hive when it's dark. So that's really important that we keep the lid off and on, rather, as much as possible, as quickly as possible. We'll be filming updates and putting more information about honeybees up for the duration of Plan B. So hopefully by the end of it, you'll be much more educated about what bees are doing when you see them in your garden, and what they need, most importantly, to feed on to keep them healthy and happy and producing honey for us. We all know, I hope we all know, that our pollinators in the UK and worldwide are really suffering at the moment with large agricultural farming methods and pesticides and herbicides. They're having a really tough time. But what has shown to be true is that actually allotments, weedy little corners in your garden, plant pots, verges, roadside verges, they all contain such a bounty, or can contain such a bounty of flowers that my bees would love to feed on. So that's a little bit about bees. They are fascinating creatures, but they are struggling. All pollinators are struggling and they need our help. So if you can, in the tiniest little plant pot, on your windowsill, in a window box, in a bucket, an old empty bucket, anywhere you can, plant pollinating plants that the pollinators really love. And we are very lucky with Plan B in that we've got some really good specialist knowledge to help us understand what we should be planting and when. It's very simple. If we don't have bees and if we don't have pollinating plants, there won't be any more human beings.